Hey guys, welcome back to Pop's Mother Road Flatbed Report, now known as Pop's Freebird Report. Hey, I'm recording this way after the video you're getting ready to see, where we did some work inside the engine, did some fan belt, did some cooling fan work, and did some work on the thermostat housing and thermostats, replaced the thermostats and the thermostat housing. Took out a bracket and kind of did a couple of things underneath there. Did it over a couple of days, but I'm going to include them all here in this video. What I want to do is I kind of want to let you see this video, and then afterwards I'm going to come back and I'm going to give a comment about some of the things that happen afterwards that you have to look for in this 6.4 liter Ford Power Stroke. Now, that 6.4 is the notorious headache diesel truck, diesel engine. Now, I want to tell you something about that. If these engines are deleted early in their life, this one was deleted like at 80,000 miles. Now, that may not sound like a whole lot of miles, but right now it has almost 180,000 miles on it. But it was deleted early, so that way it doesn't wear out the mains and cranks very much. So if you get it deleted early, these engines last a good long while. Yeah, there's some things you got to work on during the lifespan, but if you keep the oil changed on them, you keep the cooling system working, you get the delete done right, these things will run quite a few miles off-road, right? That's what you have to do if you delete them, right? Off-road. Nevertheless, you know what I'm saying. You guys kind of tune in here. I'm going to pull this engine compartment open, and we're going to take a look at the fan, and we're going to replace it. We're going to come back in. We're going to replace the thermostat housing, and we'll look at a couple of other things, and you can see some of the things you can do to get the long life out of these very powerful engines. 6.4 engine is very powerful, and it has done very good for me over the years. I had it for 5 years, and I've put almost 80,000 miles on it since I got it. So we're going to go to that video right now.
Well, hey everybody, it's a beautiful morning here in Tuttle, America, and we're going to make a video in the next day or so on a repair for the 2008 Ford F-350, and it's going to be replacing the fan clutch on this 6.4 liter diesel. Come here, Shaggy. Hey! One of the keys to being able to make safe trips and trips that don't have a whole lot of problems with them is doing preventive maintenance. And now that I'm a free bird, some of the things that we do now where we're going cross country, want to make sure we don't have any trouble on the road. I was visiting my grandsons up in Wichita, and on our way back, pulling our RV, started getting a little bit of heat built up, and in fact the needle went up past 220 degrees, and saw a little surge and heard it pop back down and all this stuff, and so I took it to the shop, and the guys down at ABS, they're good shop out here on Highway 4. So I replaced the cap. I'll show that to you here in a second. And he said, but another thing is that when they stressed it and put it up into temperature, that the fan was only coming up, cycling in and out of 30%. And they said, of course, when it hits to the thermostat pops temperature, that the fan should kick on, and you should be able to see 100%. And they idled it and roared it up and all that stuff. Never could get it past 30%. But then we had this opportunity this time to fix it. And so they said it cost about $800. And I go, $800 to do it? Well, started looking online, found a guy that I follow on YouTube. Name is A-Rod. I'm going to give you a link down here in the description for the change out of the fan clutch. How he does it. It's how virtually we're going to do it here today. And we're going to follow his directions pretty much. The only difference that he and I have in our approach right here is that since mine is deleted, I'm going to have a little bit more room than what he did, because he did it on a non-deleted 6.4. Now, the rest of the story is, let's get down to our work and I'll show you what we've got, okay?
All right, well, so here is the 6.4, kind of spread it out here so you can see it. Those of you that are familiar with them recognize this. And of course, that's the signature. They're only on 6.4s. You'll see that I replace everything when I replace something with OEM. Of course, there's not an OEM when you delete it, so you get something that is dependable. And of course, that little red connector right there for my air on the hot side is very dependable. So that's what I placed down there. But the rest of it, see, it's all gone. Nothing down in there. All the EGR's done. But the culprit is down there. See if you can see it. Yep. All right, let me get around here and take a look. Let's take a look right down here. All right, now I'm gonna point a couple of things. Here's the fan right here. That is the yellow plastic. This is the clutch. Hang on just a second, let me make an adjustment. Now you can take a better look at it. So here's the pulley. Down there, that's the nut that we're going to pop off. We're going to rotate. And you can see the fan now. So this is the fan up in here. And that's the clutch that's coming out right down there. This is the cover to the fan. And the clutch is that silver part down there. It has the nuts on the back side. The nut that holds it on right there. And if you look at A-Rod's video, that is the nut that goes lefty tighty and righty loosey. So there's what we're going after right there. Over on A-Rod's video, it's hard to see this little piece. He talks about knocking it out. So you see the two bolts that we're going to have to retrieve, get out of there. But there's the little piece he's talking about you're going to have to punch out. I'm going to punch that out right now. All right, there she goes. She is punched out of there and she fell down into the netherworld. All right, I'm going to remove all 6 of these connections right here. Show you which ones I'm talking about. I'm talking about 1, 2, 3 on this side of the truck, and over here we have 1, 2, and number 3 right there. Knock those things out real quick, and then we'll start pulling this stuff off of the top here. All right, well, that's the last one. All 6 are gone. Now, we're going to loosen this on the hot side. We're going to loosen this down here, pull those free. Then we should be able to move it a little bit. We're ready to shove it now. Should be a little bit loose now, you can see. Okay, so now we've got to take all these wires off the top and take that trim piece right there off, and we can push this out and be able to yank that cowling out. I just kind of give you a heads up here. First thing is I'm going to disconnect this little wire that was down on the post on this side, and then I put the nut back on there to hold it. So we're going to disconnect that. Got a couple of zips in here holding this, and we're going to undo that nut that's holding them on. Going to break these,
and come across over here on this side. Going to undo that one. It's a little bit split. A-rods, it's broken right here. And then we're going to get this line, and we're going to lay this line over. Here is the line coming over to this side. It's hot line. We're going to pull it all the way loose and lay it all the way back over. And since it's a hot line, you got to take care of that end. Make sure that you don't put it in something that's going to spark. Okay, so I've gotten that line right there that was laying right there in that area. That's where I pulled it out of. There's the two holes that we popped it out of. Now I got this hot line right here. It goes from all the way over there all the way across and hooks in over here to this side of the battery. And you notice it has these little tangs right here. A-Rod mentions those in his video. We're just going to pop each one of those little tangs up and get it out of the way. And we finished with that. I'll be back. And just to keep it from making contact, I put a little plastic drinking water bottle on it there. And I'll keep it from marking on anything as I mess with it and stuffed it down in that bottle. So now I've got to take these out and pull this power steering fluid pump reservoir, back. And once we get it back, then we should be able to get this cowling out. Okay, we've gotten those out. Now this pops up out of here. And right down there's a little V that it sets in. It comes out and sets back. All right, there we go. Now we're going to try to lean this cowling up and get it out. Of course, there's one more item that you don't want to forget. It's right down here. And what keeps the upper cowling connected to the lower cowling, right there. See that little nut? We got to get that one out. The one on the other side was already out for me, so somebody's been in here before. Probably when we get that fan clutch out, it's probably not going to be OEM. It's probably what my problem was. All right, there she is. She's out. And now we can take a look down in there and see what we're trying to get out of there. So what I'm going to suggest you do is you take a look at the A-Rod video that I'm going to link down here below. A-Rod shows you a way in which you get it out, in which you lift the passenger side up and then move the driver's side up, and then you won't damage it. Now, I know you're going to think I did this, but I didn't. I'm going to show you. Whoever did this before me damaged it. Look here. Yeah, right there, it's damaged. It looks like it's going to hold on all right because of this big ridge, but I'm going to get some clear Elmer's, not Elmer's, but clear Gorilla glue, and I'm going to glue that in whenever I get done with this. Leave it the way it is till I get everything hooked up. Okay, so here we are, and we're going to go down here and we're going to loosen this up. Have to get the connections off the back. There's a little tab right there you've got to push down on. You push that down, and there it comes out. Now we got to do the other side. We'll lay this one up here where we can get it again in a minute. Now I got to pull that loose on this side. So let me show you on this side. Once you get that plug out, you've got these little tangs you got to press in to push that out. There we go. Now we got it out. There it came loose. All right, we're going to start turning this thing. See, it just comes off real. So this is coming off now. So I'm going right. It is coming off. Now, this thing's pretty heavy. It's probably about 8 pounds or so. And so I've got to use both hands here, so I've got to put down the phone. I'm going to set it up on the tailgate here, and we'll take a look at it here once I get it off. Okay, try to set you guys up here. All right, so here's the one that came out of the truck. Here's one I'm going to put on. Now, quick little look at some of the differences. If you can find them, I challenge you to. So I'm going to take a look here and look here at the one that came off. I'm going to pull the fan off. Be right back. Now, if you get A-Rod's video, you'll check and see that he gets his little 1/4-inch impact and he pulls these out. One thing that I wanted to show you, something that you lose if you use an impact just to zip all those out, is to find out how tight these things are. And we're going to find out here on these just how tight they are. That turned real easy. That's pretty tight. 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 This one was loose. I did not mess with that one at all until I set it down here and put this wrench on it, and it moved real easy. So that tells me that one was loose and it was probably causing some kind of vibration as we were going. But I'm going to loosen each one of these off here and zip them off, and then we'll take a look at this real quick. All right, so here both of them are, and they are both OEM. Of course, this one was a factory install right here that came right off the factory. And this one over here is the one that I'm going to replace it with. So I'm putting the marker over here on this side and this one on this side so you can kind of compare them identically. I have found that they're pretty much identical. All right, I got all those tightened up now. In case you're wondering what that was, it's a 10mm on those. All right, here we go. We're going to try to put this fan back on. See if we can see this. So, lefty tighty. Make sure and don't cross thread it, buddies. Oops. I got it right there in the center, getting ready to hit hook. If you cross thread it, you are screwed. All right, there she is. She started. Bring it over here so you can see it. Right down there. Here we go. Okay, when it snugs up underneath there, I'm going to go get the spanner wrench and give it one more little twist just to make it snug. And had another friend on another video that says he was making sure and tightening that little one, I think that main one, down just a little bit. So in case, you know, the engine's running full speed, or it comes in into the high idle and you decide to cut it off, it could keep spinning and then unspin, loosen itself up down here. And of course you don't want it to do that. There it is, it's snugged up. See, I can't turn it no more. Now I'm gonna get the spanner wrench. One little turn, and that's all you need right there. All right, so we've got the fan back on, and now you just have to reassemble it. The engine, as you know, will turn into those threads so it tightens them. And so the first couple of times that you rev your engine, it should tighten it up okay. And as it goes down the road and it kicks in, it'll continue to tighten it. So don't worry too much about that end of it. We've got one little crank with the spanner wrench. It should be good. Other than that, just button it on up, and we'll do that and show you the finished product here in just a minute, all right? All right, guys, we're done. Let's go take a look at it. It was a fairly easy job, but you got to be prepared for some stuff that you probably don't get into all the time. Let's take a look. All right, there she is. She's all put back together. A couple of items. I was missing one of these little 10mm bolts that was missing. I'm going to leave this one on since it's got the V clip down at the bottom, and I've got one up here, and so I'm going to get one down at the store and put this one on here. And the one that I was missing was the one that was in the cowling way down in there. And so I went ahead and used that one for that, and then I'll put this one in. I'll get back up to O'Reilly's. They've got them. But if you can take a look down in here, you'll see everything's back on track, the way it ought to be. Got everything plugged in. Yeah, and don't forget to plug these things in. Let's give it a start and see what we get, all right? Engine light, and I'm gonna check it up here on my Mini Max, see what it is. All right, so here we are. Nothing. We got them. So we're gonna let it idle a little bit, see how everything happens. If everything does well. Idle it up some. We're gonna let it run for about 15 minutes. See if it'll cut off, or actually cut on. Right now, see the fan is turning. So I'm gonna let it run for about 15 minutes, get up to operating temperature, see if it cuts on, cuts off.